they have to. So we're still working on that, but the quota has been quite high and beyond what they were thinking. And they right now actually perform in the mystery shopping best in class, and they were pretty at the low end before. So then the client said, why don't we do that with our 1,500 call center agents? We call our clients every 2 years for them to renew the contracts, and we're moderately successful, but every percentage point that we go up with that would really help us, because it means just margin. So what we did is we devised workshops for the agents, and in order to do that, we called client or customers of theirs who had called the call center and asked them afterwards how satisfied were you with it, and we asked them our segment question, which type are you, and what did you extend the contract or did you not? So we had the recordings of the agents, we had the questionnaire with the clients or customers who said who they are and whether they were happy or not. And with that armed, we went into the workshops. We had then 10, 12 agents sitting in front of us, and we asked them first and said, now, if you have to describe your customers, how would you do this? And they were totally puzzled because they said, well, they are irrational, they are strange, and they ask for discounts, and always has to be the cheapest, and then they come, I don't know if this is a good product, and so it was such a diverse set that they could not make sense out of it. We wrote this all down, all the sentiments that they had, and then we showed them the group's typology. And you could really see how that changed their mind. They suddenly said, yeah, that's true. That's the guy I just had this morning, and then this one came after, and so on and so forth. And then we rearranged all these attributes that they had just thrown out, and suddenly they fit so nicely in all these 5 types. So what you realize is that we gave them a language to understand who are customers, and that, yes, there are certain segments. You just need to understand who you've got in front of you. And to do that, that was the second part of the workshop then, is that we played the voice files to them of their own calls and said, now listen to it and tell us afterwards, you have to mark it, which type are we facing here. In the beginning, it was horrible rate. I mean, I think they got less than a fair chance. I mean, if you tossed the coin, they would have done better than that, because they got confused. It was overwhelming, and yeah, every time they heard the word price, they thought it was a discount hunter, which is not true. So we had to actually train them. By the end of the day, they had a rate of about 85%, which was awesome. Yeah, they really understood, they were hyped up, and they went back to the phone studio to do their calls. But that was only one small group. What we did to get the others going and get an equal understanding, obviously we cannot train in person in a one-day workshop 1,500 people. We devised an e-learning that would, in principle, work the same. I mean, we sent them a link, an email. We said, now go and listen to these calls, say what it is. Was it A or B or C, or what was it? They answered. If it was wrong or right, they get an explanation for why this is right and why this is wrong. What were the key words? What should have given him the hint? What should they have listened to? And they had to also say why they did the decision, what made the decision, persuaded them that it was this or that. And we do this on a regular basis. Every second month they get trainings, and the ones that are not doing well get personal coaching by the internal trainers of that company. They are really making sure that these guys are understanding how to approach them. And to facilitate that, they have come up with these checklists. It's basically a booklet of 50 pieces of paper that you get there. So with every call, they are required to look at the checklist, and it says like, is it a more demanding, or is it more asking? Is it a customer that's more proactive, or somebody who is waiting for the lead from the agent? So it's easy dimensions to recognize. It's very easily implemented. And you just do your check marks, and really, if you have 3 check marks to the left and only none or 1 to the right, go with where the majority is. Very simple heuristics. And then he has some what should you do? So it says next steps and how do you have to proceed with them. What we are doing right now is that we track the matching of these customers, and we check it against, again, when we call these clients afterwards and say, who are you really? To double check and see if their match, the evaluation of the clients is the same as the client would evaluate themselves or type themselves. And the rate is, again, very high. So that we come to the KPIs, currently the KPIs are like this. The customer satisfaction in the 2 months that they did this, you have always fluctuations, right? You have the red one, that's the matchmaker trained agents, and the blue dotted line are the untrained agents, the control group. Depending on what offer you can actually make them, the satisfaction and the conversion rates change. So what you see here though is that the untrained agents are 0.25 grades lower in customer satisfaction than the trained agents. What you see is that the once and done rate, meaning can you finish that close the deal? Well, not the deal really, but are there still questions open for the customer so that he has to come back, or you're able to finish that particular case at least? Whether you make the deal or not is a different matter. You see that the matchmaker trained agents are 7 percentage points higher, which of course means that people don't have to call back, which is real money. The average handling time is 9 seconds lower. That doesn't sound much, but what you see is that the untrained agents were looking at the trained ones and said, why are they so much quicker? So they were trying to emulate them and also go about it quicker and just force them through, which led to actually this lower satisfaction rate. So they were trying to emulate without knowing how to do it and what to do about it. So not very successful. And the actual conversion rate went up by 4%. Now, according to the client, what they said is that this one, and this one are each worth a couple million euro per year already. So this is real money. Talk about value-based pricing, we should have done our pricing.
Yeah, they should be paying you.
But it worked so successfully that they are with us on tour all the time, doing presentations at the market research fairs, doing reports in magazines and newspapers and everything. They're so willing to share this because they look really good by doing this, and we look good. And there's so much money in it for them that we actually tailor this now to be also a call center based product and a sales-oriented product, because it has imminent benefit for the customers. So, I think that's it, to show you how you can implement products based on segmentation. Barry.
Does the segment identification become part of the customer record for the client?
By now, yes. It hasn't in the past, but now it does. We do, every new client will get our questionnaire and gets immediately tagged. But we also take the existing client base, and packaged into a customer satisfaction survey, we put our segmentation questions. So that eventually, probably in about 2 years, the whole customer base will be tagged. And that information will be made available to the shop person. If they say, I'm Hardy Code, then the screen pops up and say, yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's a smart shopper. Yeah. So they know exactly, they don't have to guess.
Another one.
What? Yeah, it's my brother.
So there's no customer resistance to having this information included in terms of privacy or anything of that sort?
We don't approach them and tell them, well, we'll put it, we slot you in any typology, like you don't do with any other typology. We have questions about how do you go about deciding when you talk about mobile phones. Do you compare a lot? Do you know the prices? Do you feel like you're the cheapest, etc.? So it's really harmless questions.
But you can collect this and attach it to the file without asking permission?
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, can I follow up? Are you talking about when you're doing
your survey or when they're calling in the customer care?
No, when we are calling them, when we are approaching them.
So you would
as-
call the 60 million? You would call in 2 years 60 million?
Well, you have several hundred thousands come up every month anyway, because they come up for the extension of their.
Yeah. that
So you
seems
do
different
ask them.
there.
Let me ask something, because
Hold on,
Yeah.
Are you,
No,
No.
you're talking about a customer relationship call during which you're gathering data about the customer and attaching it to the file, right? That's different than calling them customer.
No, it's fine whatever way it is. I just wondered whether there were privacy considerations, and there are. That's fine.
In fact, it came to my mind because in Barry's presentation in Shanghai, somehow from the behaviors and the prescription of the doctors, he used this information and he applied it into the segmentation thing. Is it possible for something like that, that you get the behaviors or whatever it is, what they would, so you can connect this database, which probably the client have, to your segmentation, so you can do it in one shot, more or less, like very data?
not at all. Does not work. There's
It does not
no
work.
correlation whatsoever, because, and that's imminent in the system, we are talking about segmentation based on how they go about in the decision process. And you might be a smart shopper, but you either use mobile internet or you don't use mobile internet. You might have a high bill